Do you know that us conservatives are horrible sexists? In case you've forgotten, don't worry, some progressive will remind you on a daily basis. Progressives take every opportunity to remind you that only they care about the success of women, and conservatives want to keep us little gals pregnant and in the kitchen as though there's something wrong with motherhood or preparing healthy, nutritious meals for your hungry family. Alberta Premier Rachel Notley took the opportunity to call conservatives in Alberta sexist on a national stage at the Unifor convention in Ottawa this week. She took to the stage in front of members of the Canadian mega union to bash Alberta and the right wing as sexist. Here.
So here's a few other notions that we have in Alberta, new notions. In our view, it is time for a fully gender equal cabinet and for women to take their place as equal decision makers in the halls of government. In other words, my friends, it is time to stop talking about women's equality and to make it real.
Now, did you get that first part? She calls the notion of women in government leadership a new notion in Alberta. What is she talking about? Notley thinks Albertans are so sexist that even though we elected her, a female premier, we still need gender quotas to help women along? Maybe on the left, lady, but certainly not on the right. The right has been putting women in positions of leadership and power since way back when the left was still out burning their bras. Now, I could list the obvious. We all think of Margaret Thatcher when we think of conservative women leaders. But let's think a little closer to home. What about Canada or even Alberta? Conservatives have no problem electing women in Alberta. We already elected a female premier before Notley, PC Premier Alison Redford. We very nearly had a Wild Rose premier, with Danielle Smith before her own deceit and betrayal ended her chances. Now, I know those two aren't ideal examples, but they also show there's no aversion to electing women in Alberta. Now, they also show that women can just be as unethical as men, and that ethics don't necessarily have a gender. Now, on the federal front, the Conservative Party of Canada has chosen Alberta MP Rona Ambrose as its interim leader. But even before Ambrose, Conservatives had Deb Gray. In 1989, Deb Gray was sworn in as the very first Reform MP from right here in Alberta. The West wants in sentiment that swept the Western-based Reform Party into official opposition in Canada was driven in the House of Commons by Deb Gray, the deputy leader of the Reform Party. She also served as interim leader of the Canadian Alliance for 5 months. She was the first female leader of the official opposition in Canadian history. She was conservative. Now, what about Unifor, that union that Rachel Notley is busy bashing Alberta in front of? Well, they've never had a female leader. So when Rachel Notley is lecturing us all about girl power, she needs to turn around and face her own movement. And all of us out here, take a minute. Think about the conservative women around you. Do those women seem like the kind of women who would be part of a movement that didn't treat them with respect and value? Now, Rachel Notley said the notion of women in leadership in government is a brand new notion. Well, maybe for the NDP, conservative women in Alberta are a generation ahead of their progressive sisters. And Rachel Notley is a little late to this game. For the Rebel.media, I'm Sheila Gunn-Reid.
Thanks for watching. Click here to never miss a Rebel update. Want even more of the Rebel? Well, click here to become a premium member.